Postmedia columnist Ed Willes of Vancouver suggests the Canucks need to make some bold off-season moves to avoid another long year without playoffs. One possible move: explore the option of dealing forward Jake Virtanen, right? Gerry Kahrmann, Postmedia News Files. As they face their most critical off-season in 2 decades, the Vancouver Canucks are presented with 2 clear choices. The first can loosely be described as a steady, patient approach in which the organization continues a commitment to its young core. This doesn't rule out any player movement, but it does preclude a big signing in free agency. The problem there is the Canucks, as you might be aware, have missed the playoffs 4 years running, and the patience of their fan base has worn thinner than an Olsen twin. The second is a more aggressive approach in which the organization makes a play for at least one of the marquee free agents. Considering the Canucks lineup has more holes than a bad alibi and there are some enticing names on the market, this might be the quickest way to improve the team while exciting the market. The problem there is the huge risk factor involved in free agency, and if you doubt that, here's 2 words for you: Louis Eriksson. So, while we can all agree the Canucks have to improve themselves in a big way this offseason, there is disagreement over the best way to get there. This space has its own thoughts in the matter, but if you were wondering what GM Jim Benning is thinking, here are some samples from a recent interview. "I think we have to be a little bit careful," Benning said. "I think we're on the right path and headed in the right direction. That cap room, some $14 million, can fill up awful fast, and I think we're getting the pieces in place to be real good in the next few years, and the big one, I deal with Canucks owner, Francesco Aquilini, on a daily and weekly basis. He understands where we are and he's been supportive. Our goal is to be more competitive. In other words, don't expect a big run on our Artemi Panarin jerseys after July 1st. The Canucks, to be sure, made some modest gains in the standings this season and some big gains with their fans. The reasons for optimism are well known and need no further illumination here, but with 3 young cornerstone forwards, the development of Troy Stecher, the arrival of Quinn Hughes and the emergence of Jacob Markstrom, the Canucks can finally sell hope next season. But can they sell wins? That's the bigger question. Coach Travis Green needs a lot more than the kids in Markstrom if he's going to drag this NHL team toward the playoffs, and the plain fact is the Canucks need upgrades all over the lineup. If we take Benning at his word, he believes those upgrades will come largely in-house. The kids, theoretically, should get better. Josh Leivo and Tanner Pearson have the look of 20-goal scorers about them, and it changes the equation if they can deliver at that level. One of these years, the Canucks have to catch a break with injuries, and that might be the biggest factor of them all. Benning also said the team will look to add a defenseman. Given his stated position on free agency, that will likely come in a trade that raises the question, what would Jake Virtanen and Ben Hutton fetch in a deal? Still, there's something about this steady-as-she-goes philosophy that doesn't hit the ear right, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First off, if the Canucks are fully committed to a patient approach, it will come as news to Trevor Linden. The former president lost his job last summer, in large part because he told ownership the Canucks were 4 years away from the playoffs. Okay, if Linden had known what Elias Pettersson was going to deliver this season, he might have altered his forecast. As it is, the Aquilinis, specifically Francesco, haven't exactly been known for their patient, slow, methodical philosophy. Then there's the question of need. As mentioned, the Canucks have a few of them, and there are some ready-made solutions in free agency. On the blue line, it appears the big move will be resigning Alex Edler. He's risky, but, all things considered, he represents a safer bet than Erik Karlsson, Jake Gardiner or Tyler Myers. The forwards, however, are a different matter. The opinion here is the Canucks have to sign a frontline winger to play with Bo Horvat. Mark Stone, was the preferred option, but there are still others. Panarin will likely be too rich for the Canucks' blood, but Jeff Skinner, Matt Duchene and Anders Lee will all be 29 or under at the start of next season. If Benning wants to go down market, there's Michael Furland and Ryan Zingle. but it doesn't seem the status quo is an option. Given everything the faithful have endured over the last 4 years, the Canucks have to offer something other than hope next season. Yes, free agency is dangerous. But as noted philosopher John Tortorella once opined, safe as death. It's time for the Canucks to live a little. Ed Willes at Postmedia.com, Twitter.com/WillisonSports White Towel Podcast. After the Quinn Hughes debut for the Vancouver Canucks, Ed Willes and Paul Chapman are wondering if the elite prospect can survive under the microscope. Talk turns to the impending draft lottery, the Canucks off-season strategy, Jake Virtanen's future in Vancouver, and Jim Benning's draft prowess. Click here to report a typo. Is there more to this story? We'd like to hear from you about this or any other stories you think we should know about. Email vantips@postmedia.com.